The Legend of Zelda has such a massive universe that I couldn't fit all the creepy locations into one video, so today I'll share with you some other creepy locations in The Legend of Zelda. The Palace of Twilight may be the creepiest location in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and that's saying quite a bit. Accessible only by portal, this palace remains undiscovered underneath the world of Hyrule. Directly after entering the palace, 3 Twilight beings are standing around in their cursed forms, and these figures seem very familiar. These creatures are the same Twilight beasts that you've been destroying throughout the game to create warp gates. By now you know that Midna is the sole royal figure of the Twilight realm, yet she has helped and encouraged the destruction of her own people. This is one of the most depressing reveals in Zelda, but it's subtle enough that you may not even notice it during your first playthrough. The atmosphere for this place is extremely dark and drab in a way that could only be compared to the dark world of A Link to the Past. I make this comparison because the Twilight Realm is a distorted version of its own world, which may be why I find it so unsettling. Let's be honest, when I first mentioned creepy locations in Zelda, 99% of you probably immediately jumped to the thought of Ikana Canyon from Majora's Mask, and that's okay because this place could easily be considered one of the scariest locations in not just Zelda, but the entire Nintendo universe. What makes me give it this title is not just one thing, but a combination of all the frightening events that take place here. While this location is extremely creepy, it wasn't always that way. According to the lore of Ikana Canyon, it was at one time a grand and proud kingdom that had a strong and honorable army and happy peaceful citizens, but a massive war broke out between them and a rival. This war eventually stopped as both sides lost all their soldiers in battle. By the end of this war, the area had become a massive wasteland, with all the citizens either evacuated or deceased, leaving the land barren. One of the few things left in this area, besides the disturbing morph music that plays in the background, is the Music Box House. When first visiting this area, you will see a young girl named Pamela that will run away whenever you get close. The house is also surrounded by Gibdos that wander mindlessly across the land. When making it inside, you can go downstairs, and when you open up the closet, you'll find the girl's dad, who is morphed into a mummified Gibdo that will attempt to attack you while struggling across the room. If you play the Song of Healing, you can save him. Then the child you saw earlier will come down to meet the father that she was sure she had lost. Then she begins comforting him by assuring him it was all just a bad nightmare. And that really sums up Ikana Canyon, a really bad dream. This is one of the saddest and most touching stories in the franchise, and is one of the many reasons why Majora's Mask is considered one of the greatest and creepiest games in existence. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is easily the brightest game in the series, with it introducing Toon Link and a Hyrule that's made up of beautiful cel-shaded graphics. But the Earth Temple may just be the scariest part of the game. What sets this temple apart is that they make it very clear that you're underground, unable to escape the obstacles ahead, with the temple occasionally taunting you with beams of sunlight from above. This sunlight is key to staying alive, with most of the puzzles revolving around redirecting the small amount of light you have available. To go along with the atmosphere is the music, which may seem innocent enough at first with a basic drum beat, but then gets absorbed by an almost ghostly moan. While we have the traditional Floor Master Zelda villain that can grab onto you at any moment and bring you back to the beginning of the dungeon, the most terrifying of the villains are the undead banshees. These things are hiding inside coffins scattered throughout the temple until they're disturbed. While at first they may seem lifeless, they soon let off a gut-wrenching screech, then come after Link with their glowing red eyes staring right into your soul. If they get close enough, they'll grab on and suck the life right out of your body. The only thing that saves this place is that the final boss is pretty goofy looking, but it's still the scariest place in Wind Waker. So those were a few more creepy locations in the Legend of Zelda Universe that I'm sure have led to fear in many children. So until next time, thanks for watching.